Good morning, everyone, and welcome to beautiful Zion National Park in southern Utah. We're at the visitor center. We're about to hop onto the shuttle to go into Zion Canyon, deeper into the national park. The plan today is to hike about 25 miles, a good chunk of the way across the entirety of the national park. Alrighty, after about a 15-minute shuttle bus ride, we are starting out on foot. So the plan today, like I said, is to hike about 25 miles of a 37-mile hike. And here we are taking the footbridge across the Virgin River. This is such a beautiful place. If you haven't been to Zion National Park, definitely add it to your list. And it's a fairly cold and windy morning. It's probably 45 degrees right now, and again with a fairly stiff, fairly cold wind. Anyway, yeah, about 25 miles today, about 12 or 13 miles tomorrow. I'm gonna be camping tonight, and this is really exciting. So there are three big hikes, three like world famous hikes in Zion National Park. There's the Subway, the Narrows, and Angel's Landing. I've done all three. I've made videos about all three. I've been to Zion National Park at least a dozen times. I've been here a lot, but I've never done this hike. This is called the Trans-Zion Trek or the Zion Traverse. It used to be 50 miles, but then there was rockfall on the eastern section of the trail, and that trail is now closed, and so it's now 37 miles. So we're doing about 25 today and about 12 tomorrow. The first couple miles of the trail today follow the Angel's Landing trail, and this is Angel's Landing right in front of me. This guy right here, if you've seen videos of a very narrow sandstone kind of ridge walk almost that has these chain handrails around it, that's Angel's Landing. That's the top part of Angel's Landing. First wildlife sighting of the day. We have some deer hanging out down by the river. Oh, and we have one right here. I didn't see this guy. The trail goes right through here, this section. There are lots of these tight little switchbacks. I think we might be able to see some people. Yeah, there's someone right there. To give you a sense of the scale here. Pretty impressive. Okay guys, we're about at the spot where the trail to Angel's Landing cuts off to the right and goes up this way. Again, super, super cool hike. Definitely should be on your bucket list. Then here's a better look at the face, the vertical face of Angel's Landing. So I've actually climbed this. There's a rock climb called Prodigal Son that goes up this way. And I climbed that back in like 2008, 2009, somewhere in there. And it tops out somewhere at the summit up there. And look at these huge birds. And here's looking straight down into the canyon. Beautiful day. A beautiful place. And again, look at all the birds out here. And I was debating whether or not I wanted to do Angel's Landing again on this trip, but the decision was kind of taken out of my hands because it's closed for maintenance this week. So that spot back there where the trail reaches the top of the ridge and there are the great views and Angel's Landing cuts off to the right. It's called Scout Lookout. And even if you don't want to do Angel's Landing or like too scared, like if exposure is too much for you, if you're afraid of heights, just hiking to that spot, I think is worth it. And here's looking down at that spot at Scout Lookout. Just an incredible place. What a spectacular national park. Really is unique. And there's the free shuttle bus way down there. And so from that spot, from Scout Landing, you can either turn around and go back the way that you came up, or go up to the top of Angel's Landing, or hang a left, which is what I'm doing, onto a trail that's called the West Rim Trail. And so this, from here on out, I think we're going to be seeing far fewer people, which I'm excited about. And some of the cliffs here are so big that it's hard to get it in frame. It's hard to get it all in one shot. Look at that. Okay guys, I think it's time for an update. It's been a little over 2 hours and I've gone a little over 5 miles. I came up the trail right here and I've been going through this canyon here and just amazing scenery, an epic place, an epic day, glorious weather. And I'm now heading, it looks like, deeper into the forest where the views might get a little bit less temporarily. And I think I've earned a little bit of a break here. This is the first time I've really stopped to take a break since starting out. There's a lot of climbing today. This entire hike, so including today and tomorrow, there's about 7,200 feet of elevation gain, something like that, which is a lot. Today is most of that. Today is like 5,000 feet of elevation gain, I think. So far I've covered about 3,000 of that. So we're making good progress. And because this is a point-to-point hike, this isn't a loop, this is a point-to-point hike, and so you can do it in either direction. I'm starting at the low end, at the southern end or the eastern end, and I'm climbing up to the north or to the west. It kind of goes, northwest. And I did it that way because even though there's a lot more climbing here, logistically it's a little bit easier, because if you end where I started, like in Zion Canyon, you have to get there before the last shuttle bus of the day. I don't know what time that is. I'll put that on the screen here. It depends on the season also, but at this time of year, it's like 5 o'clock or 7 o'clock or something like that. And I didn't want to have that restriction, even though I think I would have been able to do it. I didn't want to do that. And so we're going up in elevation, lots of climbing today. When I get to the end of the trail, I'm gonna message Cassie on my Garmin InReach, my little satellite messenger, when I'm like an hour from the end of the trail in the Kolob Canyons section of Zion National Park. I'm gonna text her and then she'll come pick me up. So that's the plan. But again, the plan for today is just lots of climbing, lots of hiking, and it's warm. It's probably in the mid 70s, high 70s right now. I think it'll get into the low 80s today. But as we go higher in elevation, it'll get cooler. And tonight should be fairly cool. It'll get down into the 40s tonight. So good camping weather. And then as far as water, I have, I think, 4.5 liters of water with me. So that's what, 10 pounds of water. In my pack, I've got, I'll do a full pack tour later in the day. I'm doing this hike kind of the lazy way, and I'll talk more about that later also. But, food, water, camera gear, my pack is probably about 25 pounds right now. As far as crowds go, it's been very reasonable. I see, 1 or 2 people every half hour or so. And given that this is, I think, the second most visited park or national park in the country, second only to, I think, Yosemite, maybe Yellowstone, but I think it's Yosemite that's number 1. Given that's pretty remarkable that we're able to have this much privacy, this much solitude. That's just great. This is such bizarre and beautiful and interesting terrain. You have these flat-topped mesas here with these little smaller mini mesas on top. Like, what even is this place? With these 1,000 or 1,500 foot deep canyons between them, just insane. Those little mesas on top of mesas remind me of The Lost World, that Arthur Conan Doyle book, I think, where it's like the South American jungle and there are these steep-sided plateaus and dinosaurs remained up there. That's where they survived. I feel like that could apply to these places too. Some sort of, mythical creature or unique species must live on those. That's how it feels anyway. Okay guys, it is noon exactly, so I figure it's time for another break and, more importantly, some lunch, but first some stats. So I've been hiking for 4.5 hours. I've gone 10.35 miles and I've gained about 3,600 feet in elevation. In my mind, this has been 2 hikes so far. The first part was coming out of Zion Canyon, and then, you know, weaving my way through the red and white and orange and pink, beautiful cliffs and rock formations. And then I got up to that, to the trees more, and I've been in that sort of second section ever since. I've been on top of the ridge, and I had some more great views of white domes, yellow domes, red domes. Again, amazing sandstone scenery. But now I've even left that behind, and I'm just kind of going through this old burned area and these sort of open meadows. I'm almost halfway done with the day's hiking, and I'm feeling surprisingly good. My feet feel fine, no blisters or anything like that, and I'm having a great time. I'm listening to an audiobook, especially as I'm hiking through these less interesting sections. It's great. It's great to listen and have my mind wander, and I love it. But let's see what we have for lunch. If you've followed me, if you've followed this channel for any amount of time, you can probably guess what I brought to eat. Pizza. I have 6 slices of pizza with me. 3 or 4 are for today, and then the rest will be for tomorrow. I picked this up from Papa John's yesterday. This is pepperoni, olives, and jalapenos. This isn't my only food. I have a couple bags of what I call hiking foods, like nuts, energy bars. I've got some olives, like little packs of olives in there, fruit wraps or fruit leather, that sort of thing. That's all in there. I haven't really touched any of that. I haven't been super hungry. I had a pretty good breakfast this morning. So I guess I didn't talk about how I got to the start of the video today. So Cassie and I woke up at about 5:15. We've been staying at her sister's house. She lives near St. George, Utah, so we've been there the last couple of nights. So we woke up at 5:15, and I drove us to the Zion National Park Visitor Center, and we stopped at a grocery store along the way, and I had a donut and some little like deli sandwiches. And then I said goodbye to Cassie, and she drove back to her sister's house. And then I hopped on the shuttle bus to go to the real trailhead. But yeah, I'm feeling great. Ooh, that breeze. A breeze just blew. That feels really nice. It's it's not too hot. Again, it's probably in the 70s right now, but it's a little bit warm when there's no wind, and so it is nice to have that breeze. I'm gonna enjoy my slices here, and I'll see you guys somewhere on down the trail. Okay, it's about an hour and 45 minutes later. The hiking has been pretty monotonous and pretty uninteresting, to be honest. We're still in that stage 2, section 2 of just kind of so-so scenery. I've been hiking for 6 hours and 15 minutes, and I just passed 15 miles. So we have about 9 miles left to go, or somewhere in that realm. And we're almost at the upper trailhead for the West Rim Trail. It should be just over here somewhere. Yeah, we're at a fork in the trail here, so I'm gonna ultimately be hiking in this direction, following the Wildcat Canyon Trail for another, handful of miles. But I wanna make a slight detour because I've never been to this trailhead, this West Rim Trailhead, so I wanna just go check it out. Well, I don't know what I was expecting, but I guess I was expecting more than this. So this is the road coming into the trailhead. And here's looking off in the other direction. You can see a little bit of some red rock cliffs off in the distance. And then this is the trailhead itself. I thought there would be at least like a pit toilet or some trash cans here, but nope, it's just a place to park a car. And then there's a sign over here. Actually, a couple of signs. This one says no dogs, no drones, no mountain biking, no ATVs, no campfires. There's a little bit of information about the West Rim trailhead and the various trails that go off in different directions from here. Then a little sign saying that bears have been sighted in the area. And then a little sign saying the distances to various places in the area. So I came from Zion Canyon and the Grotto. This says 13.6 miles. This trail said 14 point something. Yeah, 14.2 miles. And I've been tracking my hike with the GPS app on my phone, and it's like 15.3 miles to here, which makes a little bit of sense because I do a little bit of back and forth when I, set up the camera and walk away from it, then I have to go back to collect the camera. So yeah, 14, 15 miles, somewhere in there makes sense to me. And also the fact that there's nothing here, and especially no cars here at this trailhead, makes sense to me because I think I saw that the road here is still closed for this season. There's still snow on this road, so this trailhead isn't accessible by car. So again, I don't know what I was expecting, but it was a little bit more than nothing that's there right now. And I guess this is a good time to change out my water bottles. So I've gone through 2 liters of water, and I have 2.5 left, and so I'll be fine getting to my next water source. So you're not really supposed to filter water in Zion National Park. I mean, you can do it, but it's kind of discouraged because there's some sort of cyanobacteria or something in the water here that is not good to drink. And so I had no interest in filtering or otherwise treating my water, so I brought all my water with me. So I'm loading up the 2 other liters of water that I have, and I'll show you later in the day where we're going to be getting our other couple gallons of water. I think it's safe to say that we are now in Zone 3 or Section 3 or whatever I've been calling them. This feels like the mountains. There are ponderosa pine trees. It smells like the forest. We're at about 7,100 feet. I actually don't know what the highest point on this trail is, but I think it is somewhere in, within a mile or 2 of here. I don't think this trail gets above 7,000 feet. I mean 8,000 feet, but I guess I could be wrong. I'll look it up and I'll put that on the screen here. But it feels good, and maybe you guys can hear the wind. I can hear the wind rustling through the trees. I'm sitting here eating my Doritos, having a great time. I was hiking up the trail and I heard the sound of running water, and so I looked over and saw this tiny little spring right here. The camera does not want to focus. And on a completely unrelated note, if you're wondering why I don't use trekking poles, it's because it's just annoying to use them while I'm also messing with cameras and tripods and everything like that. Back in the day, before YouTube, I went on a lot of fairly long hikes. Like I did the John Muir Trail, which is a couple 100 miles long in the Sierra Nevada in California. For that and other similar hikes I did, I always took trekking poles, but again, that was before I made YouTube videos, and it's just easier to not deal with them. Otherwise, I'm just like juggling all these things in my hands. It's kind of a pain. Oh, and here's another little spring. And it's accompanied by this sign saying to purify all your water before use. All right, look at this. We're getting back into some dramatic sandstone country, or at least some views of dramatic sandstone country. These canyon walls here are several hundred feet high, as far as the eye can see. Look at that, we just passed 20 miles and we are also, amazingly, at exactly 7,000 feet. Been hiking for over 8 hours. About 4,500 feet of elevation gain. Pretty good. So I've just been walking on this trail, following it for several miles now, and you know, just nice forest hiking, very pleasant, nice and cool. Then I looked up all of a sudden and bam, there's this massive sandstone dome right here. I looked at my map and it's called Pine Valley Peak. That thing is insane. It's just huge monolith rearing up out of the forest. I think it's about 400 feet tall. And I'd never heard of it before. Amazing. What an amazing place. And now finally from the other side of Pine Valley Peak, now that I can see what's beyond it, I can see the end of the day's adventures. So we're going to be camping sort of on the other side of this little mountain here, this little cinder cone, this little volcano. Somewhere beyond over there. So that means we have still a few more miles left to go. I'm at about 21.5 miles. The going has been a little bit slow around the mountain here because it's been very sandy. And if you've been to the beach ever, you know that walking in sand is just a little bit slower, takes a little bit more effort, but we'll get there eventually. All right, guys, we're getting close to the end, closer and closer, but I wanted to show you this, once again, very epic view that has opened up to my left as I'm hiking. And then we have Pine Valley Peak right here. And then behind me, we have the cinder cone, and again, I'm headed over here somewhere. Check it out, first road crossing in 24 miles. We are heading over in this direction and then up the valley over this way. And being close to the road here means that we are also close to the other major trailhead of this trail. It's called the Hop Valley Trailhead. I actually checked it out yesterday. I did some recon in this area that'll become clear in a minute here, what I was doing. And at this one, there is actually a bathroom and trash cans and that sort of thing. Look at these funny little rock formations across the way. They're like little beehives. Neat. Okie doke, welcome to the Hop Valley Trailhead. Like I said, trash can here, bathrooms here, little sign here. This one also says to be on the lookout for bears in the area. And then we have just a couple of cars parked. But I want to check something out. So when I was here yesterday, there were some bottles of water cached behind the bathroom. I want to see if they're still there. Oh yeah. Yeah, and so this is frowned upon. I think you're not supposed to leave water like this in a national park. And so I didn't, and you can see, I wouldn't call this a ticket, but you know, some ranger has been by and I guess flagged these ones as being here for too long. And so from here we have just like 1 more mile left to go. We're almost there. We're almost to my water. We're almost to camp. Just a little bit of hiking through the valley here. This section of the Trans-Zion Trek follows the Hop Valley Trail, which I assume is the name of this valley out here, and the trail heads off in this direction. The trail surface here is inches of sand. It's slow and unpleasant hiking. So let's talk about the red tape of an adventure like this. So, unlike the other hikes that I mentioned at the beginning of the video, the super famous ones like the Narrows, Angel's Landing, and the Subway, you do not need a permit for this hike. You do not need a permit or a reservation of any kind to do this hike. But you do need one if you want to camp in the national park. There are specified, designated backcountry campsites that you have to stay at if you want to do this trail and if you want to camp in the park. I don't like messing with permits and that sort of thing, and so I didn't do that. Instead, I am going to leave the national park and camp on some BLM land that is just over here. So we are still in Zion National Park. We've been in the national park this entire day, this entire video, but only about 500 feet in this direction is the BLM land boundary. So that's where we're headed. And so that's why I hiked 25 miles today. I wanted to get to this spot that is the closest spot, the easiest spot to leave national park land and get to BLM land. We made it. Just like that. Careful. Oh. Okay. Freedom. And so now on the other side of the fence, we have this little dirt road. This is the dirt road that I drove yesterday, and I dropped off my water somewhere over here in these trees. But do you remember earlier in this video where I said I was doing this hike the easy way or the lazy way? Let me explain that. So I got to this spot yesterday. I drove here, dropped off the water, and I thought, you know what? I am feeling kind of lazy. I'm gonna drop off all of my camping gear. And so this backpack does not have a sleeping bag in it. It does not have a tent or anything like that. I figured as long as I was being lazy, I might as well take full advantage of it. So let's see if my cache of water and camping gear is still here. Yes, indeed, it sure is. Here's the little duffel bag that has my camping gear and then 2 beautiful gallons of water. And I think this is where we're gonna set up camp for the night. I had originally planned on setting it up over there. When I scouted out this area yesterday, I liked the spot over there, but then today I saw that there were ants crawling all over it. This looks semi-ant free, so I think it'll work. I didn't put any food in this bag because I didn't want to, leave food out where animals could get it. So I have all my food with me for the 2 days in the backpack. And here's the tent. Let's get to work. All right, guys, what do you think? Here's the finished product. This is camp all set up. And I forgot that I had left a camp chair here too. So that's pretty nice because I certainly wouldn't have carried this thing 25 miles, 26 miles. And I forgot how much I like this little tent. This is a one-man tent, freestanding, ultra light, super lightweight, very compact, by a company called Big Sky. I don't remember the model of the tent, but I'll put a link to it down below, and I'll put the name of the tent on the screen if you want to check it out. I'm not affiliated with them. I bought this with my own money, but just an awesome, awesome little tent. And then I have a new sleeping pad on this trip, this gray thing. This is made by an Amazon brand, basically called Trekology. So is this pillow. The pillow and the sleeping pad are new, so we'll see how those work on this trip. My previous sleeping pad got a hole in it, and I didn't want to go through the hassle of trying to fix it. And then we have my new sleeping bag. This sleeping bag is probably going to be too warm for the night, so I'll probably just have it kind of semi-draped on me. But it's actually the lightest sleeping bag I have, so that's why I have it here. And then just got a bag of things like my headlamp and some medicine, first aid stuff. toiletries, camera gear, camera batteries, and then I left in my little duffel bag here a couple of big battery banks so I can charge my phone and my camera gear tonight, and it's gonna be a good night, I think. I'm excited. And then look at this is kind of funny. Can you see the fence right here? I see those fence posts. That is Zion National Park on the other side. I'm like 30 feet from Zion National Park, but I didn't have to deal with a permit. I love it. And so here are the final stats for the day. I stopped the GPS tracking when I got to this campsite. So 25.64 miles. Took me 10 hours and 53 minutes with 4,644 feet of elevation gain. To be honest, I feel pretty good. Like my feet are tired, like the soles of my feet are tired, but I could easily have made it to 30 miles today. I'm glad I didn't have to, but I'm feeling good, feeling strong, feeling happy. What a great day. What awesome scenery. So I haven't given you guys an update of my thoughts about the zones so far. So when we got to Pine Valley Peak, that first kind of big white impressive dome, to me that was kind of the start of zone 4. We were back in the sandstone, and you could see just those cool domes and rock formations all over the place. And so this section, or this zone so far, has been really cool. And so I'm going to wrap up this part of the video here. I'm going to wrap up filming for today. I was debating whether to make this 2 videos, because this is going to take 2 days to do. And so I think I'm just going to do 1 video, because it's just a better video having it all in one instead of breaking up over 2 separate videos. So that's what I'm going to do, even though it essentially means I'll be making less money from this adventure than I otherwise would from having the ads on 2 videos versus 1 video. It's just the way to do it. It's just going to be a better video, a more clean story throughout the video, so it's worth it. And so I'm going to sign off for now. I'm going to sign off for the day. I'm going to eat some pizza. Let's see, I have one slice left from today's ration, and I might dip into tomorrow's, because I don't really need a dinner for tomorrow. I should make it to the end before dinner time, and so I can just get dinner after Cassie picks me up at the ending trailhead. So I might just have 2 slices of pizza tonight, and then I've got some, I think I have like a cookie in here that I'll have for dessert. And I'm just gonna enjoy this super quiet, super peaceful, super beautiful place. Like I can see the red rock formations of Zion National Park over there. There's a really cool mountain called Red Butte right here that I'll show you guys more in the morning. You can see the big cliffs of the Kolob Canyon section of Zion National Park back over there. It's good to be back. It's a beautiful day, beautiful place. But I'm ready to relax a little bit. So I'll see you guys in about, I'm guessing, 13 or 14 hours.
Good morning, guys. It's 7:53. I've been up for about, half an hour or so. I slept well. I slept for probably 9 hours. And again, good sleep, but I was a little bit cold because of this sleeping pad. It was comfortable enough, but air alone isn't a great insulator, so I could feel the cold seep up into me through the sleeping pad. So this is definitely not a cold weather sleeping pad. And it got down to, again, probably in the 40s, I would say low 40s last night. But apart from that, again, I slept pretty well. I was exhausted last night, as you could probably understand. And the night before, I got like 4 or 5 hours of sleep. So I've caught up a little bit on that, and I'm feeling pretty good. I think that as soon as I, stand up and start walking around, I'm going to start feeling it in my legs and in my feet. But I'm looking forward to starting the day. I'm I'm ready to pack up. My least favorite part, I think, of tent camping is packing up in the morning. Like, I just want to get going, you know? I want to go right away. I'm ready. Let's go hiking. But I have to stuff this stupid thing back into a stuff sack, pack all this stuff up, and it's fine. You know, obviously not a huge deal, but it's making me miss just sleeping in my car. But it is a beautiful morning. The sun just poked up behind that cinder cone over there. It's gonna be a good day. It's 9 o'clock now and we're all packed up. Camp is down. I put everything back into the duffel bag and that is cached, that is stored back over there, along with about half a gallon of remaining water. Let's get to it. Let's get back into Zion National Park. Actually, I'm gonna hop the fence over here, just behind the campsite. I'm gonna try to get back to the trail over this way. And just like that, bam, back in Zion National Park. I'm not really looking forward to the first handful of miles. I think it's the first like 5 or 6 miles of the day. When I was reading some reports of this trail, they said that this section, these next handful of miles, it's basically all sand. Kind of like the last mile of the trail. That just continues on. It'll be slow going, but should be okay. And then overall, we have about, 12 or 13 miles of hiking to do today. Shouldn't be too bad. We should be able to do it with some daylight left to spare. And then we'll meet up with Cassie at the ending trailhead. And I think the plan is for us to come back here and pick up my cache of stuff afterward. Again, assuming we have enough time in the day. But I wanted to show you guys this mountain over here. So this is actually outside of Zion National Park also. It's called Red Butte. And that is such a cool looking peak. I'd like to climb that. I don't know if it is climbable, like without ropes. But if it is, I'll head up there at some point. And then again, we have more dramatic cliffs over there. Then more right here. More good stuff to come. And now here we are on the actual trail. It's actually not too sandy right here. It's actually, pretty hard packed, but I expect that'll change along the way at some point. I figure before I get too sweaty, I should probably put some sunscreen on. So in this little hip pocket right here, I have sunscreen, hand sanitizer, and bug spray. Haven't really needed the bug spray. And one great thing about doing the hike in the direction that I'm doing it, from south to north basically, or from east to west, is that the sun is almost always at my back. And so I haven't had to, stare into the sun, except maybe a little bit yesterday as the sun was setting more in the west, and I was kind of hiking toward the west. But apart from that, it's really nice to not have to deal with the sun at all. And so I'm just putting this on my hands and face because basically everything else is covered. I love these sun shirts. They're lightweight. These particular ones that I buy are like $15 on Amazon. I'll put a link to them down below if you want to check them out. I don't know if they're still for sale or not. Sometimes things go in and out of stock, or companies, these kind of obscure companies, just kind of go under. But yeah, great shirts, even if you can't find these particular, very lightweight. This is like thinner than a t-shirt with this hood. Great shirt. Great tool for hiking in sunny conditions. This is interesting. There's a fence here and a gate, and it says, please respect private property next 2.5 miles. I didn't realize the trail went through private property, but sure enough, I looked at the map, and yeah, there's a little enclave of, of private land here, and
Man, wouldn't this be a great place to have a house? You know, I was wondering how sore and how tired I would be today. And, you know, as I got out of the tent and started walking around and was stretching and everything, I felt a little bit stiff, but now that I'm on the trail, I've limbered up a little bit, and my feet are a little bit sore, but not too much. They're probably at 90%. My calves, my knees, and my thighs are sore, and my back and shoulders are sore from the backpack, but apart from that, like I'm feeling pretty good. I'm ready. I'm excited. 13 miles today. That's easy. That's baby stuff. At least compared to yesterday, you know. But the first good chunk of today, almost the first half, is all downhill. We're going down this valley into this canyon over here. I think that when we meet up with a creek down at the bottom there, when we meet up with Laverkin Creek, I think that's the end of the sandy section, mostly. Man, look at that valley. Look at those canyons down there. It looks like a paradise. That is so pretty. And I'm now leaving the private property. There's no gate or fence on this side. Back into the national park. So from here on out, we will be entirely inside the national park. Well, I was able to jump across that first stream crossing. The second one, I don't think I'll be able to, but maybe I can find a narrower spot over here somewhere. Okay, maybe right here. Let's try it. I keep backing up. I'm gonna need quite the run up to cross that. Oh, yay! Yes! Mission accomplished. Man, there are a lot of creek crossings here. I had no idea there were going to be this many. This is probably number, I don't know, 6 or so. And I think we've got several more still to go. We still have like 3 or 4 more miles of this valley to hike down. So far my feet are dry, but at one spot it was a little bit too wide for me to just jump across, and I saw a log on the side of the bank. So I dropped the log in the water to use as a stepping stone, and of course it splashed and like doused the bottom part of my pants, basically everything below my knees, so that's kind of fun. But the scenery just keeps getting better and better. This is unbelievably beautiful. You know, I said yesterday that I don't use trekking poles, and I don't regret not having them, but for water crossings, they are invaluable. So I grabbed this stick instead. Let's see if I can do this without soaking my feet. Nope. That was fast. Yeah, the log just rocked right over into the water. Not too bad though, just like the right side of this foot got wet. I talked yesterday about how there are designated campsites in the park where if you wanted to camp actually inside of the national park, you have to stay at one of these. But I haven't really shown them to you, I haven't shown one to you, so let's go check it out. Looks like it's off in the trees over here. Okay, well, not much to it. It's this flat spot right here. Looks like most people camp in this little patch, set up their tents right there. Pretty quiet spot, a good distance away from the main trail, so people aren't gonna, come right through your camp. Lots of shade, beautiful red rock views, and I think, is there a creek over here somewhere? No, there's not. I thought there might have been. But you do have, as a water source, if you did want to try filtering it, you do have the main creek out there. Yeah, not a bad spot. Wow, what a beautiful, beautiful place. I love the water here. This is Laverkin Creek. The creek that I've been following and crossing a bunch of times was Hop Creek, and that was Hop Valley. And so we're in a different valley now, a different canyon, and it feels great to be here. I've stopped here to take a little break, rest my feet and legs a little bit. There hasn't been much elevation gain this morning. It's been a lot of elevation loss. So I've been hiking for 3 hours. I've gone about, I don't remember, how far have I gone? 6.8 miles, and I've descended 1,300 feet. And we're gonna keep descending for a while after we make a detour. So we're gonna hang a right just a little bit down the trail here, leave this canyon, go up kind of a side canyon to a natural arch. I think it's the biggest one in Zion National Park. It's called Kolob Arch. I've been there before. I've actually done, basically from here on out, I've done this hike before. Most of what I did today and yesterday, except for the very beginning, the Angel's Landing, that was all new to me. But from here, I have done this before because I have hiked to the arch before. The arch is big, but it's not that impressive. It's a little bit hard to see. And, Zion is known for its huge cliffs, its towering cliffs. It's not known for its natural arches, even though there are some here. If you're really into that, you need to go to the Moab area, go to Arches National Park. But this is still obviously insanely beautiful. And I've barely seen any people. I've seen maybe like 2 groups, like 2 pairs of hikers all day. Just awesome. And so now here we are at the little turnoff to Kolob Arch. But I wanted to mention that from here on out, it's pretty good. 6 miles and then we're done. Lee Pass is where we're headed. That's the ending trailhead of the Trans-Zion Trek, or the Zion Traverse. But first we're going to take this little detour into this side canyon to go find Kolob Arch. Okay, I've reached the end of the line. This little sign here says, "Further travel not recommended. Please help prevent erosion and vegetation destruction." And I like how there's a, little etching here that says, "Arch, look up." Because it could be kind of easy to miss if you didn't know what you were looking for. But that is Kolob Arch right there. Arches are just awesome. That is so improbable and bizarre. I love it. Okay guys, so we have about 6.5 miles left to go. Half a mile back to the main trail and then 6 miles back to Lee Pass. I don't think I'm gonna have a whole lot to say between here and there. So I think we're gonna do a montage, a hiking montage with the beautiful scenery and everything like that. Maybe some music. And then I'll let you know how it all goes at the end. Okay guys, check it out. We did it. 15 miles after leaving camp this morning. We are at the trailhead. We're at the road. I don't think Cassie is here or even on her way. I texted Cassie with my Garmin, my little satellite communicator, an hour ago and said I was an hour from the end and that she should text me when she leaves. Oh, did you hear that? I think, okay. She's on her way now, so I have about an hour to wait. What a great hike. I'll show you the view from the trailhead once we get there. Lots of cars here. I don't think there are any parking spots left. A guy just tried to park, but I don't think he found a spot. We've got a picnic table and a bench and just great views. Even if you don't do this hike, if you've never been to this part of Zion National Park, never been to the Kolob Canyons area, definitely worth the drive. All right, I'm gonna wrap this up. I'll see you guys in a couple hours probably. Okay guys, it's a couple hours later. I only had to wait for 6 minutes for Cassie to get there. I guess my Garmin just wasn't receiving the message that she had sent before that. But anyway, we found each other. She's over here with Bowser. There's Bowser, not knowing what to do, not knowing where he is. There's Cassie, looking cute as always. And the cache of gear and water that I left this morning is still here. That's why we drove here to grab this and haul it out. And yeah, that's about it, guys. At the end of this video, once I'm done talking, I'll put the final stats of the distances and everything like that. And as always, the GPS coordinates, the relevant coordinates, will be in the video description. I had a great time and I hope you guys did too. And really, I'm amazed at how well this trip went. Nothing went wrong. The weather was great. I did what I wanted to do. There were no surprises, nothing like that. It was a great trip. Amazing hike, beautiful world-class scenery. I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you think. Let me know what your favorite part was. Let me know if you have any questions. I'll see you in the next one. Be sure to check out Adventure Know-How, my new site, where you can gain access to a map of all of my free campsites, plus monthly bonus videos that you won't find anywhere else. Learn more at adventureknowhow.com. And for links to everything else SUV RVing related, visit suvrving.com. Links to these sites and more will be in the video description.